let me tell you some of the other things that inspired me. I've done a lot of research in civilizations and myths of different cultures, and one of perhaps the most fascinating culture I've ever found was the Dogon tribe in Africa. And that is the most fascinating culture. But they don't have a written language, and yet they do a dance that's called the Ziggy, I believe. I had it in black and white off the History Channel one time many years ago. And the dance, instead of dancing in a circle, they danced in like an almost kidney-shaped thing. And they were saying, well, why are you doing this? He says, well, because we're mimicking the stars. And they said, well, what is that? And I says, where did you come from? The anthropologists were asking them, and they pointed directly to the star Sirius. And the star Sirius is a binary star that the orbit, if we look at it from Earth, looks more elliptical with a little jump in it than it does a perfect circle. And they emulate this dance in every 60 years, exactly in time with the orbit of the Sirius binary star. Now that's fascinating.
They are.
And not only that, they have in their culture how they pass on their knowledge, and they have their master who's in the cave, and he passes it from father to son, and it's in all cave paintings right back to their beginning of time where they had their first time. And they say it was very natural. We come from the dog star. And the other tribe, I don't know, the Zulus. I had a very good friend from South Africa who was Zulu, and I asked him, I says, well, what is your story like? And where do your people come from? He says, come from the stars. And I was amazed by that. And I said, you're Zulu. Well, how is this possible? He says, well, we came from the people who before, we used to think that God was on the earth. And that was normal because we eat the food that grows from the earth. We eat the animals. We hunt the animals that eat the food. And so they used to honor the earth as a god. And he says, those who came down from the stars told us not to worship the gods in heaven because they made us. They brought us here. And from that time on, we worship the gods in the stars. So there's a lot to all of these cultures, whether it be Mayan or Inca or anything. All of them seem to retell the same kind of story.
When you began to study and research about the pyramid, did you find anything that really startled you, other than the fact that there seems to be pretty incontrovertible evidence that they do predate the Egyptians?
Well, I'll tell you, I kind of went about it backwards. I kind of figured out what the pyramid was, and then I tried to look for why. I was in L.A., and I was watching a travel program, and a musician that had just gone to the pyramids had looked at the hieroglyphics on the pyramids, and to him they looked like notes. So he played those notes, and while he played them, he says, be calm, close your eyes, and I'm going to play this for you, and you're going to have a vision. And sure enough, I had that vision, and I saw what the pyramid and what the real true purpose of it was. I saw the light come from the right Delta Orion, enter the chamber where the sepulcher is, the whole room, the initiate work into the light, and then shot out the other side towards Osiris. And very moving experience, considering I was just sitting there watching this. I can't remember his name. I think it was Paul Horn. He is associated with the Giza Pyramid Association in Arizona.
Okay.
He's one of the members there, and I haven't been able to find that music again since. I remember hearing it, and it really moved me. And then I decided to say, well, what is this all about?
Well, now, let me try something, though.
Yeah.
When you had this vision, was it unaided? I mean...
No.
By unaided, I mean, drugs, drinking, anything going on?
Right. No. I mean, in college, I've had thoroughly experimented with drugs and LSD and smoking marijuana and cocaine, and run the whole gamut. But this experience in LA was just a casual evening in the afternoon, early afternoon, and it was a most amazing, enlightening experience. I'll never forget it. I wish I could find that music today, or the person who did that, because if I did that, I would play that in front of my lectures, and I wouldn't have a whole lot else to say. Everybody would just get what's going on.
Let me tell you that after you and I talked, I was talking with someone else who's been a guest on this show, told him about what you said about the music, and he said, well, I'm going to tell you a story. I can't tell you this fellow's name because I don't have his permission.
Okay.
But and that's what he told me, so I don't know the guy's name. So then he said, this guy told him that if you go into the pyramid and you play a certain type of music, there are doors that will open that you don't see, that you don't know they're there, but when you play that music, they will open, and that he has done that. And they opened, he quit playing the music, they closed. And the guy I was talking with said, look, I can't tell you for sure 100% that that's the truth, but this is somebody that I know and trust and believe he's telling me the truth.
Well,
so it may be that same music.
He's really on to something there, because the pyramid itself was not just a monument to reincarnation of the god Ra. It was much more than that. I also heard that it was an observatory where you can watch stars in real time. Now that's staggering to think about, that you could watch a star takes 5 billion years or so many light years to get to us, and we can watch it in real time. That's something our scientists haven't even considered today.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling, really, when you stop and think that you walk out into the yard at night and you look up and you see all those stars. You really aren't seeing them. You're seeing those stars millions and millions and millions of years ago.
A lot of people have this misconception that the pyramid was some kind of power plant or energy producing device. And again, we're thinking of things in current Western technology. The pyramid is a power plant, and it does produce power, and it has a purpose in being where it is. Because not only does it cut the earth in quarters equal weights, but it's aligned with true north. But it also acts pretty much like a balance weight on a tire when you spin it, in order to keep the earth within its orbit.
Really?
Yes. The weight of the pyramid is in direct proportion to the weight of the earth. It's built, there are so many, the angle that it's set at 51.14 degrees, is instrumental in bringing in the pyramid energy, which makes the spiritual, not only the spiritual growth available, but what the kind of energy that we say that's like from Tesla was working on, that comes from the ether, for a lack of a better word. We don't know what it is. But it draws this energy, it's not the electrical force, but it's the force from like another dimension, almost like from a zero-point energy source. And it draws this force and points it up towards the sky. And you probably heard of Patrick Flanagan?
Yes.
Okay, Patrick Flanagan, he's associated with the Giza Foundation as well, and when he was out in L.A., he was really big on making these little pyramid structures and pyramid hats and all kinds of pyramid. He's the pyramid energy guy, and the shape, there's something in the secret of the shape and the angle of the pyramid that allows moisture from the air coming in and forces it out. That's why it's so dry and inside the pyramid, besides being in a desert. But Patrick Flanagan had put out these little rows of pyramids. They were like as big as a 3x5 card, and they were about 1 inch high, and there was a series of pyramids, and you would put a hot dog on it, and a week later the hot dog would be mummified, be totally void of moisture, and it would be hard as a rock. You ever seen that?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
it was all over.
That's news to me. I never
Right,
heard of the hot
right.
dog experiment with pyramids.
Yeah.
We're all familiar with the stories about you can put a razor in and
right, and it keeps it sharp.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of the reasons it keeps it sharp, because the energy brings it in, and it takes the moisture out, and it makes